Jesus Freak here. So, a couple of years ago, I got the idea of trying to not just pre record a few weeks up front for the videos I put out on Sunday mornings, but to have everything ready to go so that I just had to make the title cards and then staple it all together, so to speak. Before that, when I'd finish a recording, I just delete the spare files because I didn't really have the hard drive space to hold on to everything. I figure with a few compromises and the hard drives I bought a couple months ago, and maybe being able to offload stuff, this will be less of an issue in the future, and I can just record once and use again as I need it. Since it's just a 3-year cycle. I started actively setting these videos aside but a year and a half ago. At that point, I said, you know what? I think I can hold on to this. There were a few weeks when I just wasn't feeling it. So I recorded audio, but I never recorded video. So there might be a few that I do have to go back and redo when I'm working on that. So there's 5 weeks in this liturgical year that I have to finish recording. The new cycle starts November 30th. And at that point, I'm probably going to start taking a lot more shortcuts. You've noticed that, for example, until now, I'll crossfade in and out of the music. If I'm just going to cut the music in later, that's not really going to be possible anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fade out. Most of the stuff I'm going to have, I'm going to have the basic midsection of the video ready to go, and I'm going to have the end section ready to go, which is going to be either the same or just a couple rotating ones. And I've recorded a new one, so the cartoon Jesus Freak ending that you've been seeing is going to go away. So the other thing is, if I'm going to have to hold on to this, pre-encoded saves CPU, saves time, saves disk space. Another thing that saves disk space is there's not really an advantage to 1080p. So I'm going to cut down to 720 for disk space reasons. This does mean that come November 30th, those videos are going to take a bit of a quality hit. for a brief while, I did actually do some of my videos in 1080 in 720p when I was having some hardware issues. I'm going to be going back to 720p for these, simply for pragmatic reasons. When you're holding on to about 150 videos, and you basically, you don't want to keep redoing the same video over and over. So it just makes more sense to keep the pieces and just stitch it together as you need it. For example, I might have the video 1 year and it has this hymn and that hymn attached to it. And then 3 years down the road, I'm like, I want to use this hymn and this hymn instead. This is going to be important. A few other things, I believe it's 2027. I'll be able to use Morning is Broken, for example. So time passes, more hymns lapse out of copyright and enter the realm of what I'm able to use. Like, if I'm still doing this in the 2060s, I'll be able to switch the arrangements of some of the music I use, and I'll be able to bring in some stuff that currently I can't use, but I really want to. I mean, I could, but I don't even know where to begin to try to license copyrighted hymns just to use in my videos. It's just easier to use what's out of copyright, and there's so much good stuff already. I don't need to dip into the copyrighted stuff. Now, I still get hit every once in a while by some bogus claim, usually from some Korean rights management company. And it's usually the same one, too. And even though it doesn't affect my videos, because I'm not monetized and because they don't market for anything else, I still contest them every time they come up. I mean, okay, something just fell out of copyright. Then all this stuff up to 2028 that was still held back. Something like that gets auto-claimed because it was under copyright when it was added to the system, but no longer is. That's YouTube's fault. But if some Korean companies claiming my videos, that's their fault. That's their problem. I will say it hasn't been as much of a problem as it used to be.
Wait.
Because it used to happen all the time. Now it's only once a blue moon. Maybe because, recorded the same one over and over and over. And it just, the system's aware that I've contested it already. I don't know. Anyway, I've been walking on one untied shoe because I haven't had the. Because I couldn't stop and tie it. So, Jesus freak out.